Welcome on in, everyone, to Let's Talk Utes. Utah coming off a dominant performance against West Virginia, 48-14 on the road. Landon, what are your initial thoughts here about this game?
Feels good to get back in the win column, boys. It was actually crazy. I heard a stat. Utah hasn't had a win going into a bye week for 3 years now. We keep losing right before the bye week. Yeah, it's brutal. They actually asked Whittingham about that in the post game, and he definitely said, like, oh man, it feels terrible to lose. It feels even worse when you have to wait 2 weeks before you play another game. So glad Utah could get the win. I'll just go through some of the team stats here. Utah with 33 to West Virginia's 14 first downs, 532 total yards to 346. Utah with 290 passing, West Virginia with 85. Utah overall 25 of 30 passing, which is pretty great. 9.7 yards per pass, which I think is a stat a lot of Utah fans should be interested in, because I don't know what the yards per pass versus Texas Tech was exactly, but I think it was in like the fours. It was really, really poor. Just very, very short passes. And so, that higher number is indicative of some deeper passing, which is what transpired during this game. Rushing 242 yards for Utah to 261 West Virginia. Definitely too many rushing yards given up there. 47 rushing attempts for Utah, 48 for West Virginia. Utah relatively clean with penalties. One turnover, interception by Devin Dampier. Utah with about 34 minutes, 45 seconds of possession to West Virginia's 25. So very good win overall. I was glad Utah was able to get the offense back on track. Little bit, defense left a bit to be desired. They fell off a little bit in the second half, but, it is what it is when it's a blowout win.
Yeah, not much to add, really. When it comes down to it, dude, Utah just played their style of football. I mean, it looked like Devin Dampier just was fully healthy this week and was able to get some really good throws off. I really liked a lot of the sideline passes he threw, especially to Bentley. Jeez, I can't for some reason, it wasn't running off my tongue. And then it's that J.J. Buchanan fade. Those two throws to me were some of the best I've seen from Devin this year. And then Wayshawn Parker, I mean, he's looked awesome. I still wish we'd get him more carries. I think we're going to be asking for that all season long if Nacquarrie still is going to be what he's doing, which, I mean, Nacquarrie had a great game. Just Wayshawn's is a different beast. That catch in the end zone was really, really, really special. Getting open, being a safety net for Devin, and Devin getting him that ball. It was a fun play to watch. Staying in bounds was nice for him as well.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Like defensively, I mean, there's a few things that were a little bit disappointing, but especially in the second half. But that's to be expected in blowout wins. I mean, I think I would have loved like a shutout. That'd be pretty dang cool. But that Khalil Watkins kid came in and he's a stud, dude. That freshman,
he's nice.
Virginia, they got a break.
Yeah, I thought he played good.
With him at quarterback, I mean, he reminds me a lot of how Bert Flickman played. Speaking of that kid, Utah needs to lock him up instantly and let him and figure out a way to keep him on this team. Put him in a cage somewhere. Lock him in a box.
Yeah, turn his cell phone off.
Hopefully he doesn't play again, because that was his fourth game, and so
for me, I was actually thinking about
keep the red shirt.
I was thinking about that. I mean, depending on situations, I'd rather have him play if if Devin goes out, and then if Devin comes, I don't know. I was thinking he has
it's
2
so
more years
situation dependent. If Dampier gets injured against Arizona State, best guy's got to play to finish this season. There's too many games left. But if Devin gets injured in like the 10th game or something, what if Utah already has like 4 losses? I know that's negative kind of to think about, but I don't think we should play him in that scenario for 2 games. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that I'll be the one to pump the brakes on Ficklin a little bit, because I think the running has looked amazing, and really he's executed everything he's been asked to do perfectly. But what he's been asked to do, really, we've only let him throw rolling out to the left. It's clear we're not trusting him, in the RPO game, or really, in the pocket. Everything is moving to the left, getting him the easy one read throw. And I mean, he's executed it perfectly. I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean, that's what they're calling. And I'm not saying he can't do it in the pocket. I'm just saying, I don't want to have a situation where we're like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be so good right away. And then everyone turns on him if he has like a bad game or something.
Yeah.
Like I just want to keep it in check. I do think he's got a bright future, super talented. Let's just keep it in check a bit.
I just don't know, man. That throw to Larry Simons, I was like,
That was pretty nice.
That's one of the best throws I've seen from Utah quarterback in a while. That was a really, I like that play a lot, and I would love to see Larry get some more play because that catch was very impressive. Having a wide receiver to be able to get up and get a ball like that and control himself in the air is something that Utah has lacked for a while, and he's every time he gets the ball, he's impressed me, and I want to see more of it from him.
I think really outside of the first game with Larry Simmons, like he's looked good. Like he had those errors where like UCLA, he ran out of bounds and then he tripped in the end zone on like a perfect Dampier pass. But since then, every opportunity he's got, he's cashed in. Like I feel like he's earned more playing time.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I want to talk about, you go.
Oh, I was just saying like he was one of the only two wide receivers, him and Ryan Davis, I feel like consistently get open for this Utah offense.
Yeah, I'd throw JJ Buchanan in there as well, but I want to talk about the running game a little bit because in terms of, I like to start with the negatives, then we can go to the positives. I'm a little bit concerned, especially about Dampier's running, as well as how we're allocating the carries. Dampier had 11 carries for 33 yards. That's only 3 yards per carry. Dampier is not at a high average per carry. Last season at New Mexico, he was tied with John Mateer for the highest yards per carry in the country. I think it was 9.7 yards per carry. He's at less than a third of that with a better offensive line around him. That's definitely a bit concerning to me. I think he looked better running against UCLA. I don't know if it's the injury. I don't know if potentially he's gotten a little bit heavier and lost a little bit of his lateral quickness. He still is a good mover in the pocket. He still is pretty elusive in the pocket, but especially open field, it really feels like he's lost some bursts, some lateral movement. He's not breaking tackles and like hitting the holes like he used to at New Mexico. So that's something I'm a bit concerned about that I really hope can get fixed. And then the second part of the running game that I'm concerned about is how we're allocating these carries. Like, I think Nakari Rogers, he's a fine running back. I think he's pretty good. But I think we have a star with Wayshawn and maybe even Daniel Bray. Like, Nakari is consistently getting sometimes double as many carries as Wayshawn. And Wayshawn is getting more yards pretty much every game. Like even this game, Wayshawn had 9 carries for 66 yards. Nakari had 13 carries for 61. Yeah,
I mean, I think Nakari is average. Like, and I think there's no shame in being average.
Yeah, he's not a bad player.
Mexico. He's going from New Mexico to like high level power forward ball. And like he's maintained productivity. Like he's a good player. Parker could be a great player though. Like he just is outperforming Nakari Rogers in every situation. Like I think he'd even be better in those power sets because he just has a way better vision than Nakari Rogers. Like Rogers will run into the back of his lineman all the time, in my opinion. So I definitely agree that Parker honestly should be getting like 16, 17 carries a game, and Rogers should be like 5 or 6 is like the back that spells Parker.
See, and that ties into me. I actually think a 1-2 Wayshawn Parker number 1 with Daniel Bray as the off-speed back would be absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Daniel Bray, 3 carries for 32 yards, 10.7 yards average. Even in the post-game winning, Ham said, we need to get this dude the ball more. He's going to be a bigger part of the game plan. Dude, Parker plus Bray, that's an insane running back duo, in my opinion. I think they really contrast each other very well.
Yeah, like, and I do respect Rogers, but like he's clearly just like the third most talented out of those 3 players.
Agreed.
Going back to kind of that Dampier run, I do think that's concerning for when we play better teams, because I think that we saw that versus Texas Tech. Dampier couldn't run, and we couldn't run as a whole on the offense, and it really limited everything we could do. I mean, versus teams that have the talent of West Virginia, it's not going to matter. And like it didn't matter today. But I do think like as we play tougher teams, like it's going to matter versus ASU in 2 weeks. If Dampier still looks this limited, our offense, I think, is going to struggle. Like it's going to look closer to Texas Tech than it looked to us playing West Virginia. So I think that's a huge thing. I think injuries affecting that. Like you said, I think the weight is affecting that probably. But I mean,
he did look better against UCLA.
More effective. Yeah,
he did look better against UCLA for sure.
Yeah, but I'm very concerned about that because I honestly think Utah's offense needs that in order to like reach their ceiling. Like it's not like oh, we don't really have to run Dampier. It's like, no, like we have to in order to reach our ceiling.
Yeah, and I think like for at least this game is one of those things where it wasn't a necessity. So I'm not super concerned about it for at least for this week. But it is a concern. Having a bye week is really going to help. Hopefully get him right to a point where if his ankle's still been bothering him or whatever's going on there, they can figure some things out. I think that's going to be really nice for him. Being able to do that. But I agree. I mean, if Devin can't be what he was, at least what he was at UCLA, like where Utah can be in trouble.
Yeah, something I want to talk about is Ryan Davis. I think that coming into the season, everyone is like, oh yeah, he's like solid, nothing special. But like, I really think he's played even better at Utah than he did at New Mexico. Like he's emerged as like the clear wide receiver one, Dampier's favorite target. Obviously they have chemistry there. And like, I mean, everyone thought he was kind of the possession guy, 8 to 15 yards downfield. He's going to get it and kind of catch it and go down. But I mean, he hit a deep shot today. I mean, 33-yard pass to Ryan Davis for a touchdown. And honestly, Ryan Davis should have had 2 touchdowns. He got in on that one as well.
They should have reviewed that.
They should have reviewed that. He got in on that. But I mean, he's played so well, and I think that he really he just gets open. He just has a knack for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going back to what you were saying. It did feel like, oh, he's just solid. But low key, when's the last time a receiver was having this good of a season at Utah? Is what Ryan Davis is having.
Yeah, like he's significantly outperforming Singer last year. Like
oh, 1,000,000%. Like
yeah.
This dude is getting 7 to 10 catches per game, usually 70 plus yards, just had over 100 yards receiving. Like he's having an unbelievable season by Utah standards. Like he actually has been the best receiver we've had for years, production wise.
Isn't he like pretty close to on pace for like 1,000 yards? Like he's not too far off pace.
No, yeah.
Like
he's not
a little
far off pace.
Yeah. I'll talk about Buchanan or you go, Ethan.
I'm saying, I mean, he's averaging seven catches a game and like I think over like 70 yards per game as well. Like, I mean, he averages 9.7 yards per catch. I mean, that's honestly, he just gets open. And then like when he's catching the ball, like he's been able to create some separation and be able to take some hits. I mean that little pinball that he had against West Virginia this week was impressive. Like he catches that ball, gets bumped up an extra 5 yards, and one break tackle, and he has another touchdown. He's someone that I'm just like he's a reliable and someone that Devin can just get to the ball to over and over. Him and Dallin Bentley have been someone I've been very impressed with them this year, and they just get open and they're sure-handed guys. I mean, Dallin Bentley is one of the biggest turnarounds for me. He was one of why are we getting him the ball? But I mean, heck, get him the ball as much as we can. He's shown out.
He's been producing, yeah.
Yeah, something about Buchanan as well, who I think is maybe the most talented wide receiver on the team. He's huge, but he is also fast.
He gets open
as well. Like there was that deep ball that he drew the PI on that honestly, if Dampier puts that 2 yards further out and he doesn't have to slow for it, like that's a walk-in touchdown.
Yes.
Like he dusted that corner. Like he totally dusted him, got past him, and a better ball, that's a walk-in touchdown. And like Ethan said, like Bentley has played super well. I honestly think the Bentley usage is perfect. Like he's not a guy that you want to force feed it to. Like he's not a Kincaid, he's not a Keithy, but he is really, really solid. And he 5 receptions, 59 yards. Perfect usage in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he has 0 drops on the year with some tough catches. Like he's caught some really tough balls and he has great hands, great possession, and he's getting open through the scheme. So it honestly is working. But one thing I want to focus on as well, both Whittingham and Dampier mentioned that staying in the pocket and getting through all of the progressions before tucking the ball and running was a big focus. And they actually asked Dampier, why were you guys able to pass deeper today? And that's what he credited, staying in the pocket and getting through his progressions, which I think I definitely saw. And it doesn't excuse the poor running as much, but I do think Dampier, instead of taking those running opportunities in the passing game, he was sitting in the pocket a bit more, going through all those progressions, then finding people deeper. So I think that honestly is good improvement. If he can get that running back up to par while still playing from within the pocket, getting through his progressions, that definitely is some improvement.
Yeah, someone that I mentioned is the X factor of the game in the preview was Jason Beck. And I feel very good about that call looking back at it because I think he called a way better game. we didn't really use Snowden. We didn't really use Barton, which I think is honestly good. Like we have guys in
Agreed.
those spots that are just better than them on offense, and maybe Bray should even take
Yeah,
over.
why
all
would
the
we give
Snowden
the
stuff.
ball to Snowden when we have Bray? Like, I know it was
Yeah.
just 3 carries, but I've seen enough, man. Like, you can just tell
I
when
know.
someone's a dominator.
It's like Landon and I have talked about as well. Like Snowden is like pretty good, but like he runs it like a DB that just picked off
Yeah.
the ball.
An athletic
Like he
DB,
doesn't
like
run
a
it like
good
an offensive
DB,
player.
like
Yeah,
a good DB
a good
that got a
DB.
pick, but like they're still a defensive player.
Yeah, and so like I mean I think that the novelty of it against UCLA like worked, but it hasn't worked since then, honestly. But yeah, I mean I think Beck called a great game. Like we got the ball to the playmakers much better than we had previously, in my opinion, and we had a much better idea of like how Dampier was going to operate effectively. I thought in the pass game specifically, run game like we mentioned was struggling. But we knew exactly what to get Dampier in the pass game. I thought Beck called a great game, and it was really a growing moment for me because I think he called a pretty bad game against Texas Tech. Looked pretty scared. No concept of kind of how to beat the elite talent that Texas Tech had. But West Virginia, I think he showed kind of a different layer we hadn't seen in any game previously.
Yeah, I mean, touching on the defense a little bit for me, unfortunately, Nate Ritchie got injured. He was in street clothes on the sideline, so it looks like it potentially could be something kind of bad. Got carried off the field. He was on the medical cart. So that sucks for him, super unfortunate. But focusing on Nate Tillman a little bit, I think he looked promising. He had one bad play. He allowed that deep pass. Witt talked about it. He got asked about it in the post game where he said, I think Nate Tillman has a ton of potential, did some good things, did some bad things. And he says he's confident that Nate Tillman, next time once he develops, is going to be able to slide over on that cover 2, intercept that streak because he was right there to make the play. But I honestly
it just
think
looked like he stumbled a bit.
It seemed like the moment was a bit big for him. He is a freshman coming in. It's his first time really getting snaps. But I honestly really liked what I saw from him, especially athletically. He looked very fast. He seemed like he was in the right positions to make plays. I think he's going to develop to be a beast for us this year.
Yeah, I think honestly, down to down, like he outperformed Ritchie. Like I think Ritchie still probably gives up like a TD there. Like Ritchie was giving up plenty of TDs himself, guys. Like it's not like Ritchie was like this stalwart lockdown that like if Tillman makes any mistakes, he's like Ritchie's way better. Like I honestly think the stuff like closer to the box in the line of scrimmage, like he was much more sure of a tackler. Like he was in the right spots, I think, more consistently. And I don't know. I think he's better than Ritchie.
He just played. He had more instinct than Ritchie does. Just played with more speed. Just looked better to me.
It's just the athleticism as well. I mean, Nate Ritchie is a great athlete, but Nate Tillman, I feel like he just has. You just saw it in the game. The speed is just is a difference maker. I mean, that's one factor that Nate Ritchie always struggled with. I felt like he was always just a few steps behind being in the exact right spot. And that was just a credit of his lack of athleticism. He's covering guys that are just more athletic and better than him in that aspect of the game. I feel like Nate Ritchie had like the mindset and where I needed to be correctly. I mean, there's a reason why Scally and Witt like him. He definitely has the knack of knowing what is right. I just don't know if he had the ability to be there all the time. I feel like someone like Tillman, Nate Tillman, he'll be able to hopefully develop those knacks of understanding. Okay, I need to be in this spot at this time and all that and that. But he has the athleticism that Ritchie lacked that can really help create some more dynamic plays and hopefully mitigate the mistakes that Tillman made in this game. Obviously, with that pass that Landon said. I mean, just understanding where he needed to be changes that, and that's a pick, and that will come, especially as a true freshman.
Yeah, I think overall, honestly, 14 looks better than I think the defense played. I mean, they gave up like 350 yards. And honestly, like they could have given up 28 points very easily. Like there was a couple wide open guys that were just barely missed by West Virginia. So like I honestly do think that like, some Utah fans will be like, "Oh my gosh, like the defense was so amazing," when like I really don't think that was the case. Like I think that there was a lot of guys running open in the secondary that like if they just could get him the ball, then that's a touchdown. And I mean, they didn't stop the run very effectively. So like I think the defense was good. I wouldn't even go great though. I would just say good.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like a defense of two halves. I think the first half with the quarterback for West Virginia, what's his So,
Henderson.
yeah, Henderson, like Utah played awesome. I mean, and then when Khalil Wilkins came in, I mean, it just kind of showed that Utah, one thing that Utah's always struggled with, I feel like, is really mobile quarterbacks. And Wilkins, I mean, he showed out and he played really, really well. I mean, it's a tribute to how good he looked and how good he was playing, but his ability to create situations with his legs, especially with some of the issues that Utah's had with tackling. I mean, I will say the fourth quarter, it was a lot of second string guys. I mean, a lot of the different players I feel like came in, but I do think it's something that Utah, it's concerning. I mean, allowing 261 yards on the ground is not something that Utah should be allowing. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, well, we did only give up 85 yards in the air, so it's like, what do we like? It's one of those things where it's like you gotta take what you can get, but for Utah teams, 261 is just too much.
Yeah, overall, I think kind of like, I mean, I don't think this about the defense, but overall, I think the offense pulled the starters a little bit too early. Seems like there's like a weird like part of the Utah fan base that is like just like desperate to pull the starters even at halftime when we're up like 28-0, and it's like, dude, like no other team in the country is doing that. Like Oregon is not pulling starters at that point. Like let them ride until you have like 40 or 50 points, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I think that the reps, like I think Utah fans really, really underestimate like how helpful these reps are for like their players, because like I think the hook was too early. You know, like I think Dampier should have gotten probably 2 more series.
I agree. I'm the type of guy. I think that the last drive of the game is when you should put in the backups. Truthfully, I think the starters should play into like the last drive of the game. That's what a lot of teams do. It works effectively. Like if you look at Indiana, they play the starters, then the last drive of the game, they give it to the backups. I honestly think that's a good method. Yeah, beginning of the fourth, like right at the beginning of the fourth, it's a bit early.
We put in. Yeah, exactly, and it's like I understand the argument, like, oh, let's get Bird some reps, you know, so like when he does actually start playing, he's ready. But like we need those reps for this year.
Yeah,
like, we can't put those reps for like next year. Yeah, like what about the first team reps? You know, like you don't think that Dampier could use like more chemistry with like Merriweather or Simmons throwing deep or JJ Buchanan? Like he totally could. Like this is a big reason why we looked so lackluster against Texas Tech. Is because we weren't doing any of those things against our weaker opponents. We were not getting them enough reps. We need that chemistry. Like, we're not so far above these teams that we just need to bench these guys instantly. Like, Oregon doesn't do that. No other, like, these teams will blow them out. They'll score 60 before they put in the backups, you know?
I mean, yeah, I agree.
I think overall, like, let's talk about, like, team mentality, kind of. This shows me that this team is actually different culture-wise than last year, because last year when we got in the hole, just it didn't seem like anyone had any interest in digging us out of it. You know, the team as a whole, once we lost a game, the expectations were like, oh, well, you know, there's the season gone, you know, like we're not making the playoffs, Rising is hurt, you know, all the expectations we had in the preseason are totally gone. This team, to me, they got the shovel and they dug themselves out of a hole or whatever, you know.
I agree with you. Much more resilient. I feel like this team is going to keep fighting. I don't think they're going to give up like last year. So yeah, overall super positive bounce back game for Utah. This one was definitely needed.